What's going on, guys? It's Ty the TV guy here, back with another Stranger Things video, this time of a more serious nature though, compared to most or all videos I've made on my channel thus far, because I'm going to be talking about today the recent supposed controversy that has been sparked between David Harbour and Millie Bobby Brown, two of the brightest stars on Netflix's Stranger Things, of course. And so the rumor or news article that's going around right now, I believe initially sparked by the Daily Mail, is that Millie Bobby Brown filed a lawsuit against David Harbour prior to the filming of Season 5 began for bullying and harassment. And so in this video, I'm going to lay out some of the things that are said in these articles, which honestly isn't too much. There isn't a whole lot of information available on this, just kind of the basics. And then I'm going to look a little deeper into things and give my opinion on whether this is actually true or not. And so I'll waste no time in getting right into it. And I'm going to be honest with you guys straight up front. I do not believe this news or this rumor, which I would prefer for it to be called at this point. I really do not believe this, and I'm going to provide evidence as to why. But first, let's go over the facts of the situation once again. Like I said, it is claimed that Millie Bobby Brown filed a lawsuit against David Harbour prior to the filming of Season 5. Now, the filming for Season 5 began in early 2024, like mid-January. So this likely, if true, would have been really early 2024 or late 2023 that she would have filed this lawsuit, apparently for bullying and harassment. Now, to clarify, it is specified within these articles that it is not for sexual misconduct or sexual harassment of any sort. So not to say that if this were true, it would be good. If it were this, it would definitely be damaging to his career and put a little bit of a dark cloud over the final season of the show here. But at least it's not to that level and that degree. I think we can all agree that that's even a step above and even worse. So I was glad when I initially read this and initially thought it was true that at least it wasn't to that degree. But that's about all the information we have here. I think a couple of the articles also outlined how she was uncomfortable around him and wanted someone to kind of oversee them when they were shooting scenes together in Season 5, things of that nature. But there isn't many other details. There isn't details about what sparked this or a reliable source that this came from. Like I said, it was initially broken by the Daily Mail. And so I'm going to get into my reasons now as to why I don't believe this is true. I have about 5 reasons here, and so you can let me know what you guys think, but I am not buying this for 1 second. And to clarify, when I say that, I'm not buying that the whole thing is that the whole article. I think it's fake or largely exaggerated. I do not think there's a lawsuit. I'm not saying I don't believe Millie. If this situation was to be true, I'm not saying I don't believe her claims. I'm saying I don't believe the claims of the articles that are spreading this. The first reason I don't believe this is because the Daily Mail is an unreliable news source. They're often criticized for sensationalism and bias, and the way I like to put it from what I've read is that it seems like their motto should be spread rumors now, fact check later. Essentially, they'll report something that is only half true or that they heard from someone without really verifying the facts, and they have a track record of this for years and years now. So that's reason 1. Reason 2 for me is that, in my opinion, the timeline makes no sense for what this article is claiming in terms of when this happened. So like I said earlier in the video when laying out the facts, it's claimed that she filed this lawsuit before the filming of Season 5. Now, let's look back to when the last time Millie and David could have had a confrontation or could have had some bad experiences together in which Millie would have felt this way. Looking back to the filming of Season 4, most likely, right? Which primarily took place in 2021, about 2.5 to 3 years before when she would have made these claims, right? Okay, let's look at Season 4. How many scenes do Millie and David Harbour have together in Season 4? 2 in the very last episode? So you're telling me these 2 scenes or so together, that limited amount of filming time for Season 4 that they had between the two of them, prompted her to file a lawsuit after years of working together and them seeming to always have a good relationship and nothing going wrong? That aspect of it seems pretty shady and nonsensical to me as well. For instance, I would be much more inclined to believe this if this came out that she filed the lawsuit midway through Season 5, for example, because they're expected to have a lot of scenes together in this final season, and maybe something happened during shooting. He took things too far. He yelled at her, and she filed this for harassment or whatever. But why would it happen in the off season of Stranger Things, 2.5 years at least after they had filmed anything. And even the last time they filmed together, they had like 2 scenes together. Otherwise, he was in Lithuania largely filming for season 4, and she was in a mixture of Georgia and New Mexico filming for the scenes out west that they did with that California storyline mixed with the Eleven and Brenner thing when she was regaining her powers. But yeah, they just weren't even together much in season 4, so you'd have to go all the way back to 2018 for the filming of season 3 to where they had extensive time together where, in my opinion, it was more likely that something could have gone wrong. Another fact that supports this timeline being off is that Millie Bobby Brown was interviewed on the Smart Less podcast in March of 2025. You can check it out on YouTube yourself. It's at around like the 35-40 minute mark in the interview. She has a quote about David Harbour. Jason Bateman, one of the hosts of this podcast and a great actor in his own right, has an upcoming project with David Harbour. And so he asked, what was it like to work with David Harbour? He just asked that straight up to Millie. And once again, in March of 2025, so this is just this year after the conclusion of filming season 5. So every experience they've ever had together is done at this point. Here's what she said about him. She said, he and I would say, had the most real relationship. He and I had a very transparent relationship where we're very, very honest, can be brutal with each other, but really good friends. I think what is so amazing about him, everything is about your heart. Like he sees your heart, he knows what you want, he wants to find the beauty in everything and the beauty in the scene, and he always gave me that platform. So there's that quote. She said they had a real relationship. They can be brutally honest with each other, essentially. But then there's like 3 compliments sprinkled throughout there. What's amazing about him? He gave me that platform. We were really good friends. So I don't know. This quote to me has no indication that she has a problem with him or that they had a super rocky relationship or that this is someone she filed a lawsuit against. It does not appear that way to me at all. So I think that's my best argument as to why I think these news reports are fake and coming from these sketchy sources that we shouldn't just trust at face value. But I do have a couple more points here. Number 3, both of them still follow each other on Instagram. Now, I'm someone who likes to live in reality, and I don't think social media is the best representation of reality all the time. But nevertheless, we do live in 2025. Oftentimes when people don't like each other anymore, I mean, you can look up other celebrity feuds. I guarantee they're probably not following each other on Instagram anymore. And sure enough, when you look up Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbour respectively, they both still follow the other person. And it's not like they follow 100,000 people. I mean, they only follow like 800, 900 people, and they choose to follow each other still. So once again, I don't think social media tells the whole story with everything, but as a supporting detail in my argument here, I think it's relevant. You know, Millie Bobby Brown's a Gen Zer. I'm sure she would kind of be like people of my generation. If you don't like someone, you follow them on Instagram as a little way to stab them in the back type of thing. But she didn't even do that. So to me, it appears they're still on good terms. Number 4 is just their past record individually and together and their relationship. And so their past record individually is that David Harbour's been in this industry for 20, 30 years and has never had any professional, in the professional setting, has never had any allegation like this thrown against him, has never had anyone accuse him of any sort of misconduct or bullying and harassment or anything worse, of course. So this would be seemingly out of character for him thus far in his life. And Millie has also never had to accuse anyone of this. So this doesn't seem like something that is in the normal here. And also, their relationship together over the years, as I documented with that last quote that is after the entire filming of all 5 seasons of Stranger Things, it appears that Millie is still very complimentary of him. And then throughout the entire timeline of the show, they've just seemed to get along really well. I actually forgot to throw this picture up, which I'll throw up now, about how the timeline doesn't make sense for when this lawsuit was apparently filed. This is a picture of them hugging at the season 4 premiere, which of course takes place well after season 4 filming. So if they had problems the last time they were together, which conceivably would be season 4 filming, why would they be buddy-buddy at the season 4 premiere? It just makes no sense. So when you actually look into this, I think there's a lot of facts that indicate their past relationship was good, was strong. They've always been complimentary of another. David Harbour has always expressed his interest in protecting her with some of the struggles she faces as a young actress and things she goes through at this stage in her life. And then, like I said, And I've said like 5 times now, the timeline makes no sense, and it's largely supported by that picture I just threw up and by a lot of other factors. And so I just think this is fake. And then my 5th and final reason is looking at some other surrounding circumstances that don't have to do with their relationship with each other, but maybe some things going on in David Harbour's personal life. He just had a recent messy breakup with his now ex-wife, and I believe she's like some type of music artist and has just released some songs or an album that kind of accuses him of infidelity in the marriage. And so I'm definitely not condoning that if that is to be true, but nevertheless, it has nothing to do with his professional life and shouldn't be dragged into it. And the Daily Mail is kind of known for breaking these stories from anyone who could bring the news to them, who could bring something juicy for them to share to the public and get clicks and make money off of it. And so, what if someone with his ex-wife's interests in mind brought this story to the forefront, or, had a little tidbit of, oh, Millie and David had a rough day on set and they took advantage of it so that it could be blown out of proportion. That is a theory that I have as for what could have happened here. I'm not saying that David is like a saint and has never done anything wrong. I don't know about his personal life. Maybe he did do his wife wrong a little bit there, but nevertheless, it has nothing to do with this, and he should not be defamed because of it. So those are my 5 reasons to review once again the Daily Mail, who initially broke this story, and now it's spread to a bunch of other articles and Instagram pages and Twitter feeds, of course, is an unreliable source that thrives on sensationalism in their news. Rather, should be called rumor spreading, because that's really what it is. Number 2 is the timeline makes no sense. I kind of outlined those details due to their interactions after the filming of Season 4, during the filming of Season 4, and seemingly during the filming and after of Season 5. So it doesn't make sense that she would have filed this before Season 5. And you think that would have affected other things as well, which I'll go into before wrapping this up. My 3rd reason, though not too significant, is that they both follow each other on Instagram. Has to count for something in this day and age. Number 4 is their past records individually and together don't indicate this to be something that would be likely. And then the 5th thing, like I said, is that David Harbour does have messy stuff going on with his prior relationship, and I think there could be some type of smear job going on here. That one's a little more of a slight theory, but I think this has to be chalked up to something. So I know I've spent this whole video saying that I think this is fake, and I am 98% confident that this is fake, and if I'm wrong, I'll accept it, and maybe I'll make another video saying, hey, my bad, but I really just don't believe this. There's absolutely no facts to back it up, and the source it comes from is completely unreliable. If this were to be true, obviously I would feel bad for Millie, if things were as extreme as they were made to seem in these articles. And honestly, I would think it would have had an effect on Season 5, with both the chemistry between Millie and David playing, of course, Eleven and Hopper, if you're familiar with the show, and how important that duo is for the storyline of the show. And they're expected to have a lot of time together this season. We've seen them a lot in the trailers and teasers, which once again, don't you think if this was brought as a concern before Season 5, that Netflix and Stranger Things would have made an effort to change the script a bit so that they weren't like going off on their own journey together, which it appears they're going to do in Season 5. There's just so much that doesn't make sense about this. Once again, if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I really do not believe this, and I'm glad that a lot of people online have their eyes open as well and appear to not be buying it. Some people are, though, and that's the shame of it, that, something can be posted on the internet these days, and unfortunately a lot of people will just take it as fact, no matter what it is, no matter where it comes from, and right away, calling David Harbour horrible for doing this, and saying that Season 5 is going to be ruined now. And so, I hate to even give attention to something that I think is fake like this and was done for clicks or clout, but I did think it was important, no matter if I only reach 50 Stranger Things fans, 500 Stranger Things fans, that I let you guys know that I really don't think this is true. I wouldn't let it impact how you view the show or the final season here. Hopefully Millie or David comes up and clears the air on this and denounces it and says it's not true. But honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if they don't even give it the time of day, because it's just such bullcrap. Once again, this is my take on it by using my brain here a little bit, kind of scouring through some surrounding facts. This is just kind of the conclusion that I've come to. I heavily, heavily disagree with what is going on, and I don't think it's true. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Did you even hear about this before I said it? I know it's kind of spreading like a wildfire online, but I know I didn't really hear about it until my sister told me. But did you guys hear about it before I said this? And what do you think? Do you think it's true? Do you think it's not? Do you agree with some of my statements in here? I would just be really surprised given the timeline of things, honestly. That's the strongest case I have against it, and what really makes the foundation of this apparent lawsuit and all the details in these articles, which isn't much, kind of makes it fall apart in my opinion. But all right, I talked about this for long enough. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, guys. This is hopefully my most negative Stranger Things video. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to share with you guys my take on this situation that unfortunately has become relevant and is trying to take away from the great build up to season 5. But no matter, we're still going to enjoy it, and maybe the air will be cleared on this beforehand anyway. We'll see if they're both at the season 5 premiere. But I really think this is a non-issue, and David Harbour just has some stuff going on in his personal life, unfortunately. But yeah, that's Todd the TV guy. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.